You know, in the past, I've definitely not been scared of speaking against powerful people or people with more influence, money, resources, etc. than frankly I'd ever hoped to have. But for some reason in this instance, I most definitely am.
With all this dramageddon tea coming around again, tons of receipts are being exposed. But there has been one common denominator with a lot of them, and that's the people that are exposing the receipts openly stating that they are scared for their life to expose these people, with the main culprit of fear being a Jeffree Star. I mean, what more could you expect? Hey, what's up, IRs? It's Mackenzie here, and today on the channel I'm going to be spilling some major tea by listing the top 10 influencers that are afraid of Jeffree Star. But before I get into it, make sure to go down below and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one, and also follow the team on our socials. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get right into it. Starting off at number 10, we have Tati Westbrook. So starting off with possibly the most obvious, Tati. Since Tati has been in bed with Jeffree for years, and they were both at the center of the biggest scandal they both had ever been in, it can definitely be assumed that they both know a lot about each other. But for Tati, we don't need to assume that she's scared, as she clearly stated this in her recent video, Breaking My Silence, that she has tons of receipts from this whole situation and that she's put them on hard drives and gave them to her lawyers to ensure that there's proof if something ends up happening to her. She also said in the video that after she made her Bi Sister video, she felt very scared for her life because she felt she knew too much on Shane and Jeffree and they could try and get rid of her. Then she continued that she had changed her address and upped her security concerns since the first scandal, and although she didn't exactly state why, it was heavily insinuated that it was because of Jeffree and Shane. In at number 9, Kam Lester. Kam Lester is definitely another person who is very scared of Jeffree, because he's actually the person that truly started the recent dramageddon by openly sharing that he believed that Shane and Jeffree were involved with the Bi Sister video. And if you don't remember, this whole situation picked up steam about a month ago when Kam released a video speaking of the time when he was pretty good friends with Jeffree and his group of friends. And he said that he felt very much like the token black boy, and he was only really included when Jeffree needed diversity in his launches or videos. And then also stating that when he started to feel uncomfortable about some of the things Jeffree was doing and saying, he started to distance himself, and that's when he started to feel manipulated and he was left with breadcrumbs of inclusion. The most damning thing he said in his video though was that a few weeks before Bi Sister came out, he was with Jeffree when he got a FaceTime call from Shane, and Shane was cursing out James and was incredibly angry at James. And after this call, Kam knew something was brewing. Then very recently, after all this started picking up, Kam tweeted out that Jeffree sent him a voice memo, then commenting above it saying, quote, "Sent this to a black gay beauty boy who just said he was scared for his life because of his manipulation tactics." In at number 8, Gabbie Hanna. So I did a deep dive on this Gabbie situation in a recent video, but if you didn't catch this one, Gabbie Hanna is also involved in all this drama as well. Basically, Peter Mon made a video a few months ago that Gabbie told him that Shane told her that Jeffree was using vile and inappropriate language around him. And then Peter said he believes Gabbie has receipts of this call and it could definitely hurt Jeffree. Then after this came out and it was all picking up some steam, Gabbie tweeted out, quote, "I'm saying this again publicly out of fear. If something happens to me / my loved ones, it's not an accident." Then after this caused a lot of speculation, she ended up deactivating all her social media accounts. We have not heard from her since. Up at number 7, Trisha Paytas. Trisha has not publicly spoken up about being scared for her life like some other people on this list, but she's definitely doing things to support Shane and in turn Jeffree, and it's making some people think that she is scared of them. This all started a few weeks ago when a DM conversation came out between Trisha and another influencer named Tab, where Trisha is saying that she left a trip early because Jeffree was making nasty comments about her weight and skin. So after this, people were waiting for Trisha to expose him, because she's made videos on people for a whole lot less, but for some reason she didn't, later coming out on her podcast saying that she is not going to speak up about Jeffree even though they have issues as to what he did to her is not the same as blackmailing people. She said making fun of her sucked, but it's not on the same level of what's coming out now, so she'd rather not speak on it. But that definitely could be interpreted as staying silent out of fear. Up at number 6, Blaire White. So Blaire White has now become involved in this whole situation because she made a video attempting to expose Jeffree, which it did, but it mainly raised even more questions about James Charles and if he's done anything wrong with men. But getting back to the point, in her video she said multiple times that she was afraid to speak up about Jeffree and she was scared for her life to make the video, but felt that it was needed. She even said on her Instagram story, quote, "If I end up dead, in a ditch after tomorrow's video, you'll know who did it. So she's another person who was intimidated by all the things that she knows about Jeffree and was terrified to make the video, but still felt people needed to know the type of person that Jeffree is. Halfway through number 5, makeup Shayla. So Shayla might actually be the only person that Jeffree has physically threatened online, but this was also back in 2016, so I'm sure his lawyers are the reason he doesn't openly do so now. But the story with them was that they were both at a beauty event, and Jeffree alleged that Shayla told another beauty guru she needed lip injections because her face was disproportionate. Then Jeffree jumped on Twitter to defend that guru and ended up dragging Shayla in the process. And after a lot of back and forth where Shayla denies ever saying this, Jeffree then subtweeted her, saying, quote, "All these Instagram girls are all talk. I'll actually you to the ground and mean it." And after getting a literal threat like that, I'd probably be scared of Jeffree too. In number 4, Nikkie Tutorials. There's been some rumors of tension between Jeffree and Nikkie after a voice recording was leaked of Jeffree talking to someone about Nikkie behind her back. And in the recording, he said things like, quote, "I don't hate Nikkie, but she's a bad friend, very insecure and batshit crazy, but I don't have any personal problems with her." Okay, 1, the manipulation in his words here, and number 2, how do you say stuff like that about someone you consider a good friend? Like, it's just so confusing. But anyways, after this all leaked, everyone was waiting for Nikkie to give some sort of comment on it because everyone thought they were really good friends. But although she didn't make a direct comment towards Jeffree, she did heart a few comments on her recent video that seemed to be throwing shade at him. But the reason I think she's afraid of Jeffree is because even though he said those things about her, she hasn't really done much other than very subtle digs, so I'm thinking that she is too afraid to actually come out and expose him. She just wants her fans to know that her and Jeffree are definitely not friends anymore. Up at number 3, Aina. So Aina is really one of the only people that actually speaks up about Jeffree in the beauty community. So it makes sense that she might be a little afraid of him and what he's capable of, as she's had a target on her back for years after they started publicly feuding. Although there's a lot to say in regards to their drama, she constantly calls out Jeffree for his past actions, and she's who prompted his first Twitter apology. But we know Jeffree is not happy about this, as he called her many disgusting things in the past, like a rat and a gorilla. She even publicly tweeted at Jeffree saying that she cannot support him and urging her fans to do the same because of his dangerous racist behavior. And because she's been so publicly outspoken against him and is one of his main critics, it would make some sense that he might want her gone. Up at number 2, Shane Dawson. To be honest, if I was Shane right now, I would be very scared of Jeffree, because for some reason the narrative around this whole situation has been much harsher on Shane. Even in Tati's video, she seemed to spill way more tea about Shane than Jeffree. Even though we can all agree it makes way more sense that Jeffree would want James to fall rather than Shane, right? And for some reason, even though we all know Jeffree is definitely the brains behind this whole thing, Shane is the one getting cancelled way worse. And this is just a theory, but if you ask me, I think that once Jeffree had a feeling this was all gonna come out, he was actually the one that exposed all this stuff from Shane's past that's getting everyone to cancel him now, like the Willow Smith stuff, because he wanted to take the blame off himself and make Shane look worse. Also, Shane is the only one of them that has spoken up whatsoever about the situation, with Jeffree keeping very silent. And I think this is another tactic, where Shane is so nervous that Jeffree will drop him. He tried to get out in front of it and make Tati and James look like the bad guys, which might be why he got on that very strange live video after Tati uploaded her kind of exposing video. And finally, at number 1, James Charles. So the person who is probably the most afraid of Jeffree at this point is James Charles, because from what we've learned recently, Jeffree has been actively targeting James for what looks like years, because as Tati said in her video, he was bitterly jealous of him and Jeffree wanted to get rid of the competition in the beauty space. But the reason he's probably most afraid of him now is that Jeffree has been shopping around this voice recording of a victim that everyone can't stop talking about. And obviously we have no idea who this person is or if it's even real or not, but if it is real and Jeffree decides to release it, that could completely end James's career for good. And because it seems like Jeffree is probably getting ready to do something crazy and expose all the receipts that he has on the beauty community, I'm sure James is really nervous and probably preparing his response. Okay everyone, so that's all the tea from me today in this video. Please let me know your thoughts on all this below. Do you agree with some of my speculation, or do you think certain people are just over exaggerating here? Also let me know if there's anyone else that I missed, because I swear I could probably make a part 2 to this video. But before I go, I'm going to shout out a few comments from my vlog squad being exposed video. So Santiago said, "Are we gonna pretend that Trisha is a reliable person? She just wants attention. Even if her arguments are true, we know what she wants. I mean, totally. And she just hates the vlog squad so much, like seriously, with every fiber of her being. I swear she's just gonna keep calling them out and canceling them until they actually get canceled. So, I mean, we can't always trust her opinions on them, but I mean, she did spit some facts, I can't lie. Then another user said, so 1 or more cancels per day is it? Just sipping tea every day. Use code SIMPLY to get 20% off on David's tea. Seriously, David's tea should be pulling like a James here and trying to take advantage of all this free clout that they get with some sort of discount code for all the drama channels. Then Jen said, I never liked Liza. I just don't buy her act. I feel like there's something sketchy about her. I can definitely see what you're saying. Like after watching these videos of her, it's really different than the kind of persona that she plays. But for me, I just don't really find her that funny and like a little bit cringy at times. So that's kind of why I don't like her that much. Okay, everyone, that's all for me today. Again, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.